ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's Tuesday night. It's time to start them engines. It's the BSC Spring Season 11, Round 11 at Texas Motor Speedway. I'm JP. I'm going to be joined in the booth by Mr. Kenton Sportak here this evening, who's going to come along for this ride on this 1.5 mile oval. Turns 1 and 2, 20 degrees. Turns 3 and 4, 24 degrees. Front stretch and back stretch, 5 degrees. But let's find out all about this race circuit. Mr. Sportak, good evening to you. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty well. Staying busy. Weather's getting warm. I think expecting rain here. I know that's your usual go-to, and in your neck of the woods, we don't get as much of that down here, but we could use the he might need some of that rain on that car as it smokes out and hopefully it doesn't catch fire for him. But yeah, heading to nice little Texas. It's a very interesting race circuit, with it being a 1.5 mile race or track. Typically, once you start kind of seeing into this realm, a lot more, not quite plate racing, but you get a lot more higher speeds. I think we were watching them go around about 180 miles an hour. But comparatively to things like Michigan or even some of the races we've run earlier on sort of these shorter fast track kind of things, the main one that comes to mind right away is Atlanta. A lot more tire wear is very prevalent on this track. It's sort of the deciding factor in a lot of ways, is how well you can actually make these tires last. They do have 5 sets. They actually gave them an extra set to try and combat how much tire wear there is. So if you're able to make them last a little bit longer, have a little fresher near the end, that might be very beneficial for you.
Well, we're going to find out, ladies and gentlemen, what they're going to be able to do. Track temperature 77 degrees Fahrenheit, 25 degrees Celsius. Wind speed northeast at 13 miles an hour. Conditions partly cloudy and humidity 71%. So that's going to be quite interesting to see how they get on here as well with that one before we go into qualifying, which is what we have done. We talk about this kind of most weeks, to be honest, Kenton. Qualifying here, is it relevant?
I don't think it's necessarily relevant. Most of the crashing that you typically are going to see here is going to be caused by someone spinning out and going usually left out of one of the corners. I've seen a couple coming out of 2, most seemingly coming out of 4, honestly. So those tend to be a little bit more, but it's a hard left. So unless you're underneath a car, I don't really see you getting included with too many people, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue of trying to avoid anybody. Will be very one lane, so it will have a little bit of impact on how well you actually qualify, but it's going to be like any other oval race. As long as you're on that lead lap, you've got a shot. So we've seen crazy things happen. We've seen very crazy things happen. So as long as you're on that lead lap, you've got a shot, basically.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? Considering what we've seen over the last got to be 2 years now, give or take. I think there's just anything can happen. I think that's the thing, you know. If I sat back and was like, oh, Tom Cohn is going to be on pole and he's going to run away with it, I think I would be naive. It would be absolutely rubbish. Lydia Spain, I'll go TJ and Brad. Happy little cupcake. Let's go 52. It's Trent Kimmel and Angie Kimmel. Go Trent, it says. So the support raining out in YouTube already for these guys. And I'm going to look forward to seeing how some of them get on. I think that's the thing for us. You know, over this period of time, we have seen insane things happen. We've seen high caution races. We've seen massive accidents that's taken out half the field. We've seen people get their first wins, people get probably their 10th win, and we have seen pretty much everything. But we're starting to come to the end of the spring season again as well. Now, there was changes. I saw a long list of announcements from our very own Noel Jakowitz come out a little bit earlier on.
Yeah, so there's going to be an adjustment for the formatting for the season finale. They did have a meeting about this, but as of season 10, so last year, the top two non-reoccurring in points. So for spring, summer, autumn, the top two automatically were moved into the final. That will continue. However, they've actually added in, and unfortunately, it doesn't show up in our timing tower, but they added a amateur, I guess,
Pro-Am
sort of
status.
section.
Yeah,
basically they've turned it into like kind of a pro-am. So with that, the top two non-pro drivers in points each season are going to be eligible to take the amateur championship final at the season end. In this, I believe it's going to be in the same race. I don't think they're going to add another race or do anything like that, so it should be in the final race that they do in usually November-ish timeframe. So it's not going to be anything too crazy in terms of who gets put into what. I think they've already kind of decided that that's already moved forward. We will do our best to kind of make sure that everyone gets organized into their thing, so we know who's doing what, where, when, and why. But obviously that won't become much of a sort of a discussion or a talking point till both the end of every season and then for the final races as we move our way through. So yeah. Nothing too crazy in terms of adjustments for most people.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're sort of coming to the end of this season. I think bringing in a Pro-Am change, it's not something that we're going to be able to really pick up on at this one, because obviously we've only got one more race to go. I think it's more next season you will noticeably look and see the difference there as well. So I'd be interested to see how it all pans out for them. Fair play for going down that road. Gives people a fight, of course, here to have a go. Don't forget, guys, this season's sponsored by AdminBox. Go and check them out at adminbox.com. Use code BSC-box for 10% off all orders over at adminbox.com. Coming towards the end of qualifying, got about 10 seconds remaining, and then we're going to be ready to go. Matthew Epstein's going to finish off. Alex Witt not sitting on pole position, sporting a Whataburger livery. I believe that's what I've got.
It's an American thing, so I don't know them very well, but being a Canadian, we don't really get a lot of those burger styles.
No, definitely not. Right, Andrew Jamelin is going to be on pole position with Brandon McLaughlin in second, and Noel Jakowitz and Alex Witt third and fourth. Dylan Freeman will be in fifth with TJ Spainhour and Dan Michel with Trenton Kimmel alongside. Terry Spainhour Sr. with Calvin Ross in 9th and 10th. Then Brad Young and Josh Kuhn to finish off. In 13th is Tom Kuhn and Matthew Epting, Joshua Keefe, Armand Brusso, Rod Sizemore, Seth Pegg, Daniel Molinari, Anthony Radel, and Jeffrey Reed. So we're going to keep an eye out and see how these guys get on here this evening, all at the same time. It's going to be very, very interesting indeed. So hold on to your horses, hold on to your hats, because I'm sure it's going to be very, very spicy. How many cautions did you say?
I'm thinking around 5, 6, somewhere around there is probably not including the stage break that we do always get. That I believe today is, if I remember correctly,
lap 50. So
50. Yeah, okay.
It's on the screen.
I was like, it's not on my screen. So.
Oh no, that's because we're purely testing some new little add-ins that I've been producing along with the guys from SDK. So with the race analysis at the moment, length's going to be 125 laps. Stage 1 will be 50. Final stage will be 75. That'll be the run to the end on that one.
So eventually I'll become important enough to get fun things. But till then...
It's a complete... The problem is it's a completely different web address. It's a completely different makeup. And at the moment, where we've only just built them, and this is the start of the testing program, should we say, I'll send you the link to the overlay, so you're going to have a look at what I mean. But you just open it up. Just open it up in your browser. You can't do a lot else. Unfortunately, due to it being in the testing stage, we're just testing a few things that we put together for the new overlay as well. New driver's box on the screen. It does lots of fancy things. It changes colour with the series. So if you're running Xfinity or truck, it changes colour to red and purple.
Look at y'all getting all fancy.
I know. I was reached out with Pascal at SDK, and we're building this ultimate NASCAR overlay, trying to as best as we can. So things are just in testing at this moment. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I hold on to your hats. Andrew Jamelin's going to lead us away. Brandon McLaughlin, great qualifying in second. And, well, we're into the Geico restart zone. We are green. We're going to run 2 wide for the first part of the corner. 3 wide, in fact, with Alex Whitten on the outside, Brandon McLaughlin on the inside. Dan Michelle has come back and decided to rejoin us here. And he's sitting down in third place. Alex Whitten running very high at the moment. Terry Spainow's in there as well. Mr. Senior, TJ's in there. Josh Keefe, Brad Young.
Turn 2.
Josh Keefe, Matthew Epting. Oh, Epting goes down. Keefe gives him a nudge. Epting comes up. Ouch. Oh, baby. Not good.
So that's not how you take turn 1 and 2.
Yeah,
just in case anyone's curious.
Don't do this. Okay, don't drop down onto the apron and bounce the car back up into the middle of the circuit. Okay, that's not how you take this corner at all. He was already losing it on the way in, to be fair. Sliding on the way in. Come up. Got a nudge up the bum by Mr. Keefe, who gave him a little bit of a push. Then come back up. And then I can't work out whether or not that was a weirdly steered left there. Which way were you going?
He was still turning left when he makes contact, so I mean...
Yeah, my argument with that would be running down the wall, wouldn't it, really? But there we go. Caution number 1, Epting and Keefe having an incident on lap number 1. Billy Cooper's in YouTube. Let's get it, TJ and Brad. Whoa, she says. I don't know if that's how you say it. Maybe that's, I'm making it up as I go along here. But there we go. And see how we go. But yeah, going to be interested to see how this one works out.
Yeah, I'm hoping this isn't a sign of things to come. That, lap 3 and we're already in caution number 1. Hopefully that's not the case, but who knows? We've seen some crazy things, or it could just clean up and that was just a one-off kind of, whoops, got a little loose, keep on moving.
Keep on trucking. Anyway, let's hope that that is just a one-off, because otherwise we could be in deep trouble. And I don't like being in deep trouble. And I didn't bring food or water with me. So, guys, please don't do that. Keep it clean. Keep it clean. That's what we hope, don't we, sir?
Oh, always. I would prefer very clean. And, after stage, from now till stage break, nothing. After stage break, no cautions. I'd be 100% okay with that. But very rarely do you and I get what we want in that regard. Although Talladega did kind of go our way.
Yeah, it did, to be fair. Talladega could have been a lot worse. And I was more than happy with the fact that we only had like 3 cautions or 4 cautions, I think it was at Dega. So I'm happy with that. I was well impressed with the guys there. Lights are out, ladies and gentlemen, and Andrew Jamelin leading the field once more. So we're going to be going green this time around. We'll see how they get on. Hopefully we'll make it a little bit further than 1 lap. We don't want to be doing that constantly, otherwise I feel it could be a very long night here, and we definitely do not want that. So let's see how we get on. Hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and people of all ages. Pray that it goes okay. And we can stay green for a little bit longer than one lap. One of the things I did notice, they were very spread out across the racetrack, Kenton, and there weren't this one line we were talking about.
Yeah, it wasn't one direct line, but the big thing you will get is once they've kind of settled in and start going, and obviously get more than 2 laps into the race, you will get one line. This track does not lend itself very well to multiple lines. It's real slick up high, and you can see there's almost 0 grooves. Typically you have those lines. I'll let us get started here as we do enter the Geico restart zone. And Jane actually gets a great jump on Noel Jackowitz there and ends up taking over and just kind of running away with it, getting himself a nice little gap that he can now try and hold on to. But you will see them fall into single file. There are not a lot of grooves for people to use as grip. It's very slick as you get out high, and we've already seen if you go under the white line, it's very slick, and you're going to have a very bad time. So don't want to do that either.
No, definitely not. I think these guys are going to want to stay within that limit. See how they get on here once more and see whether or not this is going to work out for them. Round turn number 2 they going on to turn 3. Interesting information you told me earlier on, you know, a quick bit of research there, Kenton, and Year 5 seemed to have popped up quite a lot for turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, the biggest thing I found in kind of checking things out was being patient and holding gear 5. Ooh, that was a hard hit. I think that was Noel Jackowitz that slammed into the wall twice now. Steering's probably going to have some fun with that. But yeah, gear 5 going out around 1 and 2 seemed to be it's a little slower for sure. Like dropping down a gear into 4th definitely is quicker, and that was reported repeatedly. The big downside to dropping down into 4th gear is once you gear back up into as you come out of the corner, it just wow. Oh, that's going to cause a lot of problems.
Wow.
Brad Young gets turned. The car's spinning all over the place.
Also takes the most amazing evasive action I've ever seen. Watch this. He hits the wall and it just goes straight across the track. I think it starts with Mr. Jackowitz, I believe.
Let's see if it was Jackowitz.
Oh, McLaughlin.
Actually, it was, is that TJ in the back? Yeah, TJ is the one that hits the wall first into the back of McLaughlin.
I'm a little bit worried there was contact already there. See where he goes?
Oh, yeah, it gets a little twist to him.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if he got it a little bit earlier on.
Oh, maybe not. He just comes down ahead of him.
And then
kind of loses speed.
McLaughlin then goes in the wall. Jackowitz is off to the left-hand side. Spinning frantically.
Brad, TJ hit the wall. Other Spainhauer, that whole fart group just slammed into the wall.
Brad's nose deep already. TJ's underneath and that. And then it just... Caution number 2 on...
There's going to be a few guys in the pits on that one.
7. Yeah. Absolutely agree on that one. Jackowitz and McLaughlin, I'm going to go with sort of kind of kick that off. So,
we'd already watched Jackowitz hit the wall about 4 times before that, too.
Pit lane, Radel, Jackowitz, Molinari, Keith, Russo, Pegg, Jeffrey Reed, Dylan Freeman, and I believe Brian McLaughlin might be already at, well, he's still sat there, so at the moment we're good, but I don't know for how long for Brian McLaughlin, whether or not that's going to work for him. But, yeah, let's have a look at our race recap. Lap 10 of 125. Leaders Andrew Jamelin, and I can tell you now we've had 2 cautions at the moment. So, yeah, as I say, on that one. So there we go. And no lead changes, funny enough. Andrew Jamelin's led from the start.
It's actually kind of funky. I like it.
Oh, no. It's cool. So there we go. Lap 10 of 125. And we're already 2 cautions in. I feel a little bit flustered here, Kenton. I start wondering why the reasoning of concepts come into my brain. And the reason it comes into my brain is I start sitting back going, we could do 3 cautions at Dega or 4 cautions at Dega, and we're 2 deep at lap 7 on Texas.
Yep. Isn't it grand? Yeah, I mean, it always comes down to little mistakes that, unfortunately, with these tracks, because people aren't thinking like Talladega, where it's, you know, it's going to be fast and you're trying to be a little extra cautious, maybe not making a move. Sometimes you're a little bit more willing to sort of put your car in a spot that's not exactly the greatest, but it's also not the worst position if everything goes right, and you kind of rely on the other person ahead of you or around you to make the correct move, and then they don't, and it definitely just throws you off. So I think it comes down to mostly just people sort of thinking they can make the same moves they can make, or they making a move they want to make without taking into consideration that might not go super great just because you're not really 100% sure what the other person's going to do. Whereas at Talladega, you know exactly what they're going to do. It's pinned, it's turn left, and stay in the draft. So you don't really have to question, where someone might take a little wider line and you're not expecting it, and it can throw the whole thing off.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are going green once more here for stage 1. Lap 12 of 125, 12 of 50. Let's see how far we can get here. Are we going to get to the end? Are we not going to get to the end of the stage? Is this going to be another caution coming up shortly? Brandon McLaughlin comes right out, sitting right in the middle of the traffic. Trenton Kimmel is high, wide, and handsome on the outside. He's closely followed in behind TJ. So just to make them aware, they are there. And Josh Kuhn is on the outside as well, with Matthew Epstein, Brad Young, and Tom Kuhn. It'll be an interesting one. No single file as of yet.
Yeah, it's kind of slowly loading into single file, but yeah, so still a couple guys trying to sort of hanging around the outside. It's going to burn your tires pretty hard, staying out that high, so not the best to kind of do long term. You're going to definitely want to get kind of back underneath, back on that inside line. But yeah, as you can see, there's, I believe that's the 19 car of Kuhn? Yeah, I was like, where is this number? I cannot find him. There it is, of Kuhn. As he does work his way down. But while trying to make a pass, it's going to go high. So it can be a little dicey to try and make that high move, because the car definitely gets a little slick out there.
Definitely does. Going to be interesting to see how these guys handle this as well. Aware we were aware it's going to be a problem. You know, there was talks of like 10 to 15 laps. There's talks of a little bit longer. You know, how long do we reckon they're going to be able to go here?
I'd say probably about 20 laps. Some people are saying 23, maybe 25, but it's not going to be having some super long sections of going green or anything like that. Obviously, with a little bit of the safety cars and a lot of people having come in for the pit stops with the crash, a couple crashes and stuff like that, they will get a little longer lasting. But that almost was not a good time for Brad Young and Noel Jackwitz just up ahead of this. Yeah, you're probably looking 25, 30 at max sort of thing with these tires. If you're able to push them a little bit more, all the more to you, and you're probably going to have a little bit of a better time near the end of the race. So it's all got to be kind of calculated. Like we did say, they have 5 tires So they're going to last. Yeah, you'll be able to swap them fairly consistently. But if you're able to make a tire last a little longer, you're not going to have to be cranking on the wheel just to get around a corner and having it basically, 180 degrees from where it starts just to get around turn 1 and 2.
It'll be vitally important that these guys can manage this. They're going to have to try and manage tyres. They're going to have to try and manage their fuel scenario. They're going to have to just keep being aware of what they're doing. Brad Young at the moment has got Noel Jakowitz diving up the inside of him. Now, we talked about going around turn 1 and 2 in 5th. You see Young is in 4th. Jakowitz in 4th also. So I'm guessing for these guys, they're going to be struggling on tyre life there in a few laps. If we're going to talk about sort of lap 19, 20, do we know what the time fall-off's going to be?
From what I was kind of seeing, it was close to almost like a second and a half, pretty quick. Once it starts getting even worse, it's just going to, like, if you try and push them too long, it's going to get ugly very quick. So having good tires is going to be the best option, obviously. But if you absolutely have to force your tires to last longer, you can. You are going to lose out on a good chunk of time, unfortunately, so in reality, having either a very smart game plan of how you're going to use your tires or swapping them as fairly quickly and consistently will be your best bet if you don't think you can make them last longer, and then trying to push when you can, letting them die, pushing when they're fresh and just trying to hold on, or you're going to have to really try and tire save. It looks like we actually have someone going in right now. Spainhour. Yeah. But his might be damaged because he was involved in that first incident.
Yeah, Terry Spainhour there into pit lane. Andrew Jamelin out the front with Dan Michel sitting in behind him. Alex Wick chasing him down at the same time here. It's going to be interesting to see what Witt does in conjunction with others. Is Witt going to play the game of going round in 5th gear, or is he not going to go round in 5th gear? And see what he does going into turn 1. Keep the eye on the dial in the bottom right hand corner here. 183, 181 mile an hour.
You can hear the tires just screaming.
He stays in 5th. Regardless of that, he does stay in 5th.
And that was, everything I saw just helps save those tires that little extra bit, as you're not having to fire them up to kind of throttle up again. So staying in 5th from everything I had seen was kind of your best bet. It won't be as fast, like gearing down will be quicker. I think it was, from what I had kind of seen, about 3 to 6 tenths of a second faster, depending on how warm the rest of the car was. But it's significant. However, they die very quickly, and by lap 12 to 15, you're already going to be like, this isn't good, and you're going to be having to back off. Like, he's not putting in a ton of steering input that some other people might have to be doing, just because their tires are gassed, or they're fighting the slide that's going to be happening. You can kind of see with Jamal, and that rear end's coming just a little bit of a fish tail as he's coming out of there, and it's a little smoother right now looking with Dan Michel.
On board with Dan Michel now. Oh, no, we're not. Yes, we are. Okay, that was having a little blink there from Dan Michel, seeing how he's going. Going to jump back now on board here and find out how the back end is doing at the moment. Calvin Ross in there. He has got TJ on his inside. He's just about to pass TJ now. Him and TJ do swap places. TJ managed to get him back again. Trenton Kimmel just sitting in front of them currently at the moment. So they're going to have to be a little bit careful here to see what goes on. Hopefully they'll be able to get to the end. I am loving the fact that we've got a little bit longer on a green flag run with Calvin Ross tucked in, TJ in there, and Trenton Kimmel in behind that as well, with Daniel Molinari fighting out with Jeffrey Reed a little bit further back. Rod Sizemore and Tom Kuhn continuing to fight their way back through that 26 of 50, 24 to go before the end of stage, and Dan Michel chasing down Andrew Jamelin.
Yeah, he's definitely putting it in some work in there. It looks like Jamelin is fighting them off and holding them off. I don't know if Dan Michel is just kind of not playing with his food, but biding his time, trying to find that good spot, because you don't want to try and make a risky move and then end up in a wall if you can avoid it, because that usually doesn't go very well. If you end up in a wall, you tend to lose out pretty quick. Wall wins every time.
Dan Michel nearly blinking hit the wall there as well, I can tell you that much. He nearly went and smacked the wall there for Dan Michel, managed to get away with it, which was good for him. Now looking to go up the inside. Dan Michel gained 6 places, not led a lap yet, where Andrew Jamelin has led all 28.
Yeah, he's having himself a good little run here, but it looks like Dan actually is going to go by, and yep, there he goes. So now Jamelin is going to be able to kind of, not necessarily coast, but feed off him a little more, or allow his tires a little bit of a break, see if he can try and bring those back in and kind of force Dan Michel to now overextend on his tires and kind of use them a lot more aggressively than he needs to.
Do you think the likes of Dan Michel are going to actually sort of change what they're doing? You know, he's still sitting in 5th where Jamelin's in 4th, going through 1 and 2. Is this going to be one of these classes from Dan Michel where we turn around and go, okay, that's how you do it, guys, because he clearly isn't doing it like that?
I mean, so far it looks like it. He's already created a pretty significant gap there, 3/10 very quickly. So I want to say there's a good chance he's going to be able to do it. Yeah.
I kind of agree on that one. I got a funny feeling he might be looking at probably, if he carries on taking this away. Alex Witt sitting in 3rd, kind of driving on that little bit of no man's land. What is he doing going around turn 1 and 2? Is he going to be using that 5th gear? Well, we're going to find out very, very shortly here. He goes into 1 and 2 now. No, straight down to 4th. So he's not doing the same as Dan Michel. And Michel seems to be running that 5th gear a little bit better than some of the others. So I'm quite impressed by what's going on in and around them. We've got Brad Young, Rod Sizemore. We're running side by side very briefly. Joshua Keefe and Daniel Molinari. Molinari's just gone up the inside of Josh Keefe there and is now making his way up to 14th. Anthony Radel gained 10 spots so far in the race. Noel Jackwitz down 4. Josh Kuhn up 6. And Calvin Ross up 2. So some gainers and losers over the first 32 laps of this one, but we've got 18 to go before we get to the end here, Kenton, and well, touch wood, 2 cautions to the good.
Yeah, so far, and yeah, we're gonna hope that continues as we make our way through this one. And it's been a little more spread out than I was sort of expecting. I mean, you've got 1, 2, 3 pretty close together, then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are nearby, but there's still a pretty big gap. And you've got 19. I think that's Baruso mixed in there. He's a couple laps down now. But it's a little more spread out than I was expecting this race to be at lap 33. I didn't. Yeah, it's kind of shocked on that. I mean, I know there was the pretty big crash there, so some people having to use either a quick repair or adjust something, fix some things up in the pit lane, so they might be a little bit dropped back from that, but very interesting.
Yeah, Michel's making inroads on Jamelin. Sorry, Witt's making inroads on Jamelin as we're just about to go round the outside. Are we? No, we are near enough, Joe, but not quite there at the moment. Is Alex Witt going to get him going into turn number 3? Well, hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm pretty sure we're going to find this out very, very shortly as they come around the corner. Witt is tucked in behind Jamelin there. Didn't get him on the run to 4. Is he going to get him going into turn 1? No, doesn't look like he did on this occasion. And there goes Dan Michel, there goes Jamelin, and there goes Witt, but it isn't looking like it's going to be very long here, Kenton.
Yeah, he's definitely losing out a little bit of time. I want to say it's the tires, because it just looked like he was getting a little squirrely, but I mean, to say that it's 100% the tires, it's also Alex Witt who's chasing him down. He's known to win a race or two every once in a while. Fairly fast driver, so could also just be that, because I think they're driving the same sort of idea, that going down into 4th gear, if that's if I remember correctly, that's what Jamelin was doing. as he does make a move up on the inside to take over second. But Dan Michel holding fifth gear, we saw, and he's a second and a half ahead already.
Yeah, he's kind of a second and a little bit up the road here, and is opening up that sort of 1.5 second gap. And Jamelin battling here. We're going to have Noel Jackowitz in behind them, and at the moment he is fighting it out with Joshua Kuhn. And Josh Kuhn there on the outside in that gold machine, managing to hold on at the moment, but Jackowitz running that inside line. What is he doing going into fourth gear? Seems to be the gear of choice. Are they trying to get this car to the end of stage?
For most of them, it's the main reason you drop down into fourth gear going through that corner is just to get the car pointed and try and help it turn a little easier. So there is definitely a benefit to dropping down other than just knowing it's going to burn your tires. It's very weird that he's staying there or going back up into fifth to come around turns 3 and 4 there, which is fair enough, I guess. But yeah, it's just to kind of help get the car pointed, help it actually turn a little smoother, so you're not running the risk of sliding up into the wall, because obviously if you're staying in fifth, you're not quite getting the rotation. You're usually going to be carrying a little more speed, so you have to really be patient before you can get back on the throttle, and that some people, it just feels like it's costs too much time. Oh, as Calvin Ross hits the wall in the background there. So if you're able and patient enough in fifth gear, it's definitely tire saving for sure. I'd be very curious to see what a lot of these guys who did not pit earlier, because I know there's that front group. I'd be very curious, Dan Michel, what his tires are actually at compared to Alex Witt, who obviously, as we saw, was dropping down into fourth gear. But yeah, early on in this, if you were holding fifth, you might now have to go down to fourth just because you're not getting the rotation anymore as the tires have started to die off.
I'm being interested to see when that starts to happen with Dan Michel at the moment. We're going to keep an eye and see when he starts dropping down, if he is going to drop down gear, of course. Let's not forget he has been managing to hold it in fifth all the while. Let's see if he continues to hold it into fifth here and how well he's going to be doing it. He doesn't seem to be having much problems here, Kenton, not holding that car in fifth.
No, holding it in fifth really well, but the biggest thing you'll notice is his miles per hour when they come through the corner, mainly in turns 1 and 2, is about 150. And I believe we watched Alex Witt, he was holding about 158. So I mean, it's only 8 miles an hour difference, but the nice thing is you're not spinning the tires when you come out. Like, you're not seeing a huge rev jump for Dan Michel, because it's just you have more power. Or you're not as high in the revs because you're in that lower gear, so you're able to hold it just that little bit extra, and kind of get going a little smoother. Whereas I find a lot of the cars from what I was seeing, it was a risk you were having as you kind of spun up those back tires, and that rear right especially took kind of a pretty good beating. But you can see like Jamalin, he's now almost 3 seconds off of, actually now he is 3 seconds off of Dan Michel, and that happened fairly quickly. Just because once those tires go, they're kind of gone. There's not very easy to save them. Even Alex Witt's dropping back slowly.
I was going to say that was where my next question was going to go, was whether or not they can actually bring them back. But the problem is if they've already roasted them, they're definitely not going to be able to. Whoa! Is he in the wall?
That's not going to be?
Not going to be, no.
Okay.
Not going to be. Armand Brusso still running around now on his own. Seth Pegg also currently a lap down with Brusso, 2 laps down. Terry Spainhour is still running, but he's a couple of laps down as well. But he's been in pit lane. With the run to the end being that it's 75 laps and there's no stage at the end here, I'm going to presume we're going to be seeing green flag pit stops, are we?
Oh, if at the rate we're going, yes. There will 100% be at least one. I am going to guess, okay, so these guys with 2 cautions have gotten to lap 45. They're going to try and get to lap 50. I doubt anyone's going to be trying to dive in now. unless they absolutely have to. I could see him trying to get to about lap 100 if you're able to. Maybe lap 95 to 100, somewhere in there is probably going to be your pit window. That'll give you your best option for tires to last to the end after that, as they'll be kind of fairly fresh, but you're not going to be coming out on cold tires to have to immediately push. And it'll allow you to sort of have that little extra fuel. You know the car can make it for if there are any green-white checkered, as Witt does bump the wall.
Or Dan Michel even.
Or not Witt, sorry, Dan Michel.
Bumping the wall there for Dan Michel, but he's on lap 47, going into 48 now. Over the line he goes, and we're going to find out what he's going to do here into turns 1 and 2. I think still probably holding 5th gear at the moment for Dan Michel. He is. He hasn't changed his routine. He hasn't done anything, Kenton. He's consistently done what he's done, and he's not brought any dramas upon himself. Over the line, 2 to go before we go into stage number 2. And at the moment, Dan Michel looks like a bit of a shoo-in that he's going to win this one.
Yeah, he's having himself a fantastic little run, and like I said, holding 5th gear, so makes me feel good that I'm not completely wrong.
Yeah, well done you.
I might know something once in a while.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Every once in a while. But yeah, it's just if you're able to hold those tires, and we've seen it a few times with I believe it's been Jamalin who's been having these long runs on tires and really saving them. Unfortunately, it didn't look like he was saving them as well, but normally we see him doing these tire saves, and it's never a bad thing to make your tires last unless they're detrimental. Like right now, like just looking the difference, it's not drastic, it's not massive, but like the last lap. So we're gonna come in here. Dan Michel is gonna be how far off of his own time? About just under 2 seconds behind on his best time with that last lap. Whereas he's 0.8 of a second slower, or 1.8 tenths of a second. I can talk. 1.8 seconds. There we go. Slower than his best time, whereas Alex Witt was almost deady on 2 seconds, and 0.2 of a second over 50 laps. That's going to add up real quick. So if you're able to kind of hold that sort of pacing, you're going to have less problems for sure.
All right, well, let's bring the man into the booth. Here, Mr. Dan Michel, who has taken stage 1. Dan, welcome in. Congratulations, buddy.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
I'm all right.
Dude, you've just taken stage, 10 points on the board. How'd you feel?
Tires feel kind of gross. They're really loose for the majority of the run, and then later on you get tight off the tube and off. It's weird feeling.
Well, I will tell him around and say to you that you are the only one running 5th gear through 1 and 2.
I'm not surprised. I just drive the car weird.
No, well, mate, you drive it as apparently Kenton's research told him to earlier on. So fair play to you on that one, dear sir. Well done for winning stage, Dan. I'll put you back in the booth and I'll catch up with you a little bit later.
Thank you.
Is it me, or did he just not seem very communicative?
Communicative?
What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know.
Communicative?
He didn't really want to talk, did he? Or was that just me?
No. He seemed very like he needs a nap. This track is not the easiest. Like I honestly would be very curious to see what him, Jamalin, and Witt's tires were at percentages wise, because I feel like it was very nasty. He does get out ahead of Alex Witt too, so he will start in P1 once we get going again.
Yeah, well, ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your hats because we are going to be up and running once more. So let's see how we get on here for stage number 2. Don't forget, this one is going to run for literally 75 laps straight for the end. Final stage now here once more. And we're going to find out how these guys are going to do. Whether or not, well, I don't think they can get to the end of the tyres. I think they're going to be, if they try and even attempt that, I think there's going to be a few punches lining around.
Yeah, a couple loose tires on the road, and they'll have to. What was it, Lewis Hamilton? I think it was that blew a tire on the last lap and still brought home the win. So
that was at Silverstone, wasn't it? I think it was.
I think so. Yeah.
I think it
His
was.
teammate also had a punctured tire. I think it was Bottas, but he, unfortunately, his puncture was a little more explosive, and he ended up in a. I think he ended up in a wall, whereas Lewis Hamilton did not.
Well, there you go. You can see Dan Michel led for 25 laps. The only other person I believe that led a lap behind him is Andrew Chamberlain. I think Alex Witt led any, but Chamberlain has. He's led for 28 laps, down 2 positions. Started in first, currently in third. Dan Michel started 7th, up 6, currently in first. And has led for the most laps here. So it'll be interesting to see how this one goes and what Dan Michel is going to do. And at the moment, though, Kenton, if he saves what he's done in the first stage, I wouldn't put it past him for not being a shoo-in for stage 2.
No, he'll definitely be a strong contender to be at the front once we hit the end here, as if he's just, like I said, smart, keeps it smooth with what he was doing, and stays, well, let's call it out of trouble. Should be definitely one of the names that we're talking about closer to the finish line.
Yeah, if not the name we're going to be talking about when we come towards the finishing line here. But we're going to get this one back up and running and underway. And we'll see how these guys go. We'll give it a few laps, see what they do here, whether or not they're going to be able to succeed in not having any more cautions, or will they not have the cautions there as well. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the final stage, 100, we've got 75 laps for the final stage, and Dan Michel gets a jump right at the beginning. He pulls away from Alex Witt, Andrew Chamberlain here, and I've got a funny feeling if Michel just does what he did last time, I can't see anybody catching him.
No, it's he just has to be smart, smooth. Don't overthink it. Don't let Alex Witt, let him go. We saw him. He was dropping down in a fourth. He was going to have a rougher time on those tires than Dan Michel did, and obviously he did mention they kind of get tight as Witt actually slams the wall there. He does mention it gets a little tight near the end of the stint, but if you're able to kind of deal with the sort of evolution of the tire and the track as you're going, I see zero issues for him being up near the front. Oh, that was a hard hit by Witt there as well into the wall. Gonna have to start calling Texas stripe to match Darlington, but
yeah, but you see Chamberlain and Alex Witt side by side at the moment. They're going to be running around into the try, coming into turn number 1 now. Chamberlain on the inside. Ooh, that was a hard hit. Egg. Tap from Freeman. Freeman goes round. Young goes round. And caution number 4 comes out. On lap 55. There we go. Let's say Seth Pegg crashed after. What do you do after that? Getting a hit. Okay. Lovely pirouette across the grass.
yeah. So for those
Seth
at
Pegg.
home, you don't want to be doing those.
No, definitely not. Right, guys, it gives us a good time now to hear from our sponsor. Time for a little side-by-side. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back there. Quick word from AdminBox. Go check them out, adminbox.com. Don't forget to use code BSC-box for 10% off all orders here this evening. You can see on the left-hand side, we're starting to get people a little bit laps down. Terry Spainhour is 4 laps down at the moment. And above that, we've got McLaughlin 2 laps, Epting 1 lap down as well. So there's a few people that are laps down here, Kenton, but is that a surprise?
A little bit. I mean, I didn't expect 4 laps down, but obviously there have been some incidents, and Terry had, I believe he was part of one of the crashes as well, and didn't go into the pits right away, so that kind of caused some loss of time on his laps there, and I think that kind of helped facilitate that happening. But it's oval racing. One crash and you can be pretty close to the front again, or at the very back if you're the one that happened to be involved. So I think just keep your head down, kind of keep pushing, and should be all good.
Should be.
Should be, or at least we hope so.
Do you think he's going to get his lap back? That's going to be. Do you think he'll get his 2 laps back?
I mean, he's going to have to hope for the things you and I hope against. So,
it's not that we hope against them. It's just that we don't like them. It breaks up the racing, doesn't it? And I think that's the thing.
Exactly.
It breaks up the racing.
So, I mean, we hope he gets his laps back, but we also, like, you know, I know you want to eventually sleep it because it's, what, 2 a.m. almost for you?
Yeah, 1:50 in the morning.
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, you know, at some point you want to get some sleep. So the longer the cautions, the more the cautious, the longer it goes. Whereas if it has no caution, we just get to talk about great racing.
All right, well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. 4th caution down into the Geico restart zone. Dan Michelle gets a jump at the beginning. Andrew Jamelin, Noel Jakowitz, and Calvin Ross with TJ Spainhour sitting in 5th at the moment. And on that one, Alex Witt is a little bit further down than expected. He's down 5 places, running that outside line in 9th. Is that the way to go?
Based on him dropping 5 places very, very quickly, nope. It's not the way you want to go about that. And yeah, I mean, being on that outside line, like you can see, he's struggling just to keep it going. His rear end's fishtailed a few times. I think he clipped the wall there a little bit as well. So it's just, you don't get the traction. He has slotted in now and is starting to go a little bit, starting to go lower, kind of following behind the cars ahead, more in that sort of realm. But yeah, he definitely lost quite quickly, though he is right up on the inside of Trenton Kimmel. It looks like he is going to go by him now as he sort of dives to the inside. I'm only curious, he just might not have had the ability to slot in when the green flag dropped and caused him to lose a few spaces there.
Yeah, definitely did. Unfortunately for Alex Witt, he's going to have to try and come back. On board we go. You can see now he is sitting there in behind Rod Sizemore in 8th. Rod up 10 places. Alex drives underneath him like Rod's not even there at the moment, Kenton, as well. He's done a great job doing that and changing the way that obviously clearly he's now slotted in and clearly more comfortable.
Yeah, like I said, that lower line just is the only one that really has any grip. Once you start getting off that, it does get a little trickier. The rear tires definitely do not like it. I don't know if it's just the lack of grooves or if it's just the banking's not quite enough to hold a faster speed. So if you try to, the car instantly just wants to kick out on you. But it's a little tricky once you're off the sort of main racing line. But as you can see, we've fallen back into sort of single file once again. So he is on the hunt for Kuhn and Spainhour there.
Yeah, Noel Jakowitz sitting in 3rd at the moment, not led a lap as he's down. Well, he's actually where he started. He hasn't lost any positions at all, but Dan Michelle motoring away at the front. See, he's led 35 laps, up 6 places, started in 7th, currently in 1st, and he's done a great job with it at the moment. I don't want to put too much emphasis on it, but is it because of the 5th gear scenario that we think is the reason why he's still managing to pull away?
I'm not sure if that's the reason right now, or he just trusts his car more. Because typically right now, if you were in fourth gear going through turn 1 and 2, you'd really be closing the gap because it is quicker. But what's terrifying is he also is, what is that? Looks about his last lap was about a 10th, 11, yeah, about a 10th faster than the rest of the field. So like he is just kind of flying, and he's just really able to kind of hold the car. And I think he's just a little more comfortable and knows how the car is going to react. Whereas if you're dropping down that gear and then you're trying to go back up and or even just staying in fourth and firing up the tires just a little bit, you're not quite as confident on how the car is going to respond. Though he did clip the wall there just a little bit, but he just seems way more comfortable with the car than almost everybody else does, as he's already gained out a second on everybody now.
It definitely has done. Check in on the weather, 77 degrees, 25 degrees centigrade, not really changed. Humidity's gone down to 64%. Wind's dropped a little bit here as well. So it's going to make it a little bit more comfortable for them. But I think overall, at the moment, the battle is going to be coming from TJ and Noel. And at the moment, TJ's tucked up right behind Noel Jakowitz here. Is he going to be able to get through? That's going to be the question. Or is TJ going to play the follow game, do you think?
I would honestly play the follow game for most of this. Save that little...
Ooh, TJ, big old wiggle.
Yeah, he definitely had a case of the wiggles going through there. And that's kind of one of those downsides, right? Like, I'm not sure if he's dropping down into fourth. I didn't hear anything, but if he was, like, that's one of the unfortunate downsides to it, is it can cause the car to get a little more loose. If he stayed in fifth, he might have just jumped on the throttle a little early and fired the rear up that way. So you got to be careful no matter which way you're going, because you can really send the car around very quickly, as we've seen a couple times already.
Absolutely. For old TJ. So we'll see how he gets on and whether or not he's going to be able to recover that back. Is he going to be able to recover it back? That's going to be the question. It's got to go back past Alex Witt once more, and Witt's tucked in behind Jakowitz. We're going to find out how these guys are going to handle this one, whether or not they're going to stay as they are, or are they going to allow Witt to go through. That's going to be the interesting thing, I think, for us up here in the booth. How are these two guys going to play this when if they do end up coming into green? What's the scenario? We talk about Daytona, we talk about Dega. You don't want to go in on your own. What's the situation here with Texas? Are we looking at the same thing?
A little bit. You do actually benefit from the draft, especially on the back straight, a little more. It's not as important as Daytona or Talladega, where if you lose the draft, you're just going to get spit up and chewed out. You can carry some pretty good speed as a solo around here. So the biggest thing is just going to be being smart, obviously trying to avoid going in with a group or that's, really I'd say any bigger than 4 is going to be a lot of cars to have to deal with. Then you got to run the risk of, a car stopping a little early, not being super confident going in because they're not really sure how the brakes, because obviously the brakes are going to be ice cubes for everybody once they go in, because you're not really heavy braking, it's more lifting. You're only really braking if you absolutely have to going into these corners. So with that, you definitely just have to be smart. Go in with a little smaller group, talk to your team, try and organize it. Ooh, TJ gets another wiggle coming out of 4 there. And try and get in and get out with as little obstructions as you can. If I'm Witt, why not kind of hang out unless it feels like you're really being hindered or losing a ton of time, and think you're able to kind of go after it a little bit more than Jakowitz is. I'd hang back and kind of just try and work together to pull yourselves through and get a little bit closer to that obvious goal of nearing first place.
Well, we're going to find out how these guys are going to get on here. What's going to go on once more. Witt still tucked in behind Jakowitz. Jakowitz chasing down Calvin Ross now. Lap 74 of 125. Don't forget, we have had the stage break at lap 50. Did have a caution at lap 55. Nobody took that opportunity to go in here. are we looking at green flag pit stops before the end of lap one, before we get to lap 100? Oh, Calvin
Yes.
Ross gone round.
Yes, we are going to have some pit stops.
Yeah.
Just based on that. I didn't see what happened. Did he just lose the car?
I think so. Oh, he lost it on the high side, hit whip, come back down, and then unfortunately, around he goes.
Oof. Almost collected a couple cars there.
Unfortunately for Alex Witt, he's going to have to try now. He managed to avoid it, which was good, but he's caught up with Jakowitz and stuff. Calvin Ross all the way down in 16th. It's a good job that caution came out for Calvin Ross.
Yeah, that was... it was interesting that it came out for himself, but not for Kuhn there. I believe that would have been the 19 of Tom Kuhn, so very interesting. Because that was like less of a bump than what he had dealt with earlier, than what Tom Kuhn had dealt with, but who knows? That button box definitely getting its workout in on our 5th caution here, and I'm hoping that's the end of them for me, because yep, that's what I called, was 5 or 6. So if it's 5, I'm okay with that too.
Yes, you may just get away with it. There we go. We're going to find out how this one's going to work out and whether or not these guys are going to be done for the day on cautions. But we're going to keep an eye out and see how they go here, whether or not it's going to be all over or whether or not we are going to be running more. So let's see what goes on, shall we? Hopefully that could be the end of it.
Yes. Hopefully. It's my hope. Hopes and dreams.
Hopes and dreams. It's an interesting way of putting it. Isn't it? On that one.
Yeah.
So there we go. Keep an eye. See what happens here. On lap 77. These guys, a few people in pit lane. Seth Pegg.
Did not pit.
No, last pit on 57. He's kind of might get eaten alive here because everybody behind him has pitted.
And it looks like everybody took fresh tires. They're all about 15 seconds. So he might get chomped up pretty quick here.
I think so. You might be right.
Although I think he might get the wave around too. Because there's 2 cars ahead of Dan well, actually, he probably won't get the wave around. He's not a lap down. So now I'm just very confused because, unfortunately for those, we do have a car that is laps down ahead. Matthew Epting there.
Yeah, but they'll go round, won't they?
I don't know.
Surely. Surely
Okay, it
he'll
looks
go
like,
round.
yeah, he's going to drop back. Okay, yeah. I'm not sure what happened there, but...
Well. Keep an eye out, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see what happens here. Whether or not they are going to be going round. See what goes on. But it's going to be an exciting one, I believe. Who's going to come out on top?
I'm going to have a hard time going against Dan Michel at the rate he's been going, barring getting absolutely sideswiped or something like that. I think he's very comfortable in this car, on this track, with this setup, and seems to just be able to just do what he wants. There's very little anyone's been able to do to kind of stop him. So there's my money. As Seth Pegg gets off not so smoothly. He has a big kind of oversteer snap there.
Yeah, he didn't get away overly well, did he, for Mr. Pegg? He has got Noel Jackowitz tucked in right behind him here. Going to see what Noel can do and whether or not they are going to eat up Seth Pegg as quickly as what we think they're going to. So keep an eye out here on the car on the inside. Alex Witt's going to come around the outside. Dan Michel's in there. Seth Pegg causing a bit of a stack up in behind him, being that he didn't go in for tyres. Drops down to third already. Jamie Lynn's going to try and go around the outside of him as well without much trouble. Noel Jackowitz. TJ's going to do the same thing. I think Pegg's going to be really affected here. Kenton at the moment, because I've got a funny feeling he's going to go down the order very quickly.
Yes. Yeah, not... Oh, well, he might have just gotten a saving grace there. Although he's going to still end up near the back, but he'll have 5-6 lap newer tires. So maybe that plays a factor later on.
But he's got to go in pit lane first, isn't he?
Yes, he will be near the back when he comes out, but he will have slightly newer tires by the end of the race, if no one else pits.
Well,
or if he doesn't have to pit.
Find out very, very shortly here. Keep an eye out on this scenario. What is going to go and happen with Mr. Pegg? Whether or not he's going to go into pit lane. He's going to be at the back anyway, so he could enter under a closed pit, to be fair.
Yeah, it's true. He could have.
Because he is going to be
not going to
be down the order anyway. So why is he not going in?
I don't know. Maybe he just assumes it's going to be okay.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, I'm not sure because yeah, he wasn't a lap down, so it's not like he stayed out for anything special. It's not like he was trying to get the wave around or anything like that. So I'm not really sure why he wouldn't have gone in. Because yeah, I have no idea why he hasn't gone in yet either. The lights are still on, so maybe he's okay.
Maybe he should go in this time. That might make it a little bit easier for him.
Ideally.
Ideally, he wants to go into pit road as soon as possible. But whether or not he's going to be a different scenario here for Mr. Pegg. Me personally, I would look at me going in.
Yes, I definitely would be if I was Seth, but I don't think he is.
It's definitely looking like he's not here, which is slightly worrying.
Yeah. Curious on that.
Okay. Very interesting indeed. So there we go. We go under a caution. It has reset itself, guys. We are on caution number 6. I had to unfortunately reload it. There was an issue that was causing me a problem. But yeah, we'll have to find out how and what goes on with Seth and whether or not he's going to get eaten alive, which is what we expect to happen here. Because, yeah, not ideal. Okay.
Definitely, still, I can't figure out why. I'm looking for anything. I got nothing.
No reasons whatsoever.
Zero, any statistic, any information I can find says that he should have gone in. So I don't know why he isn't. This is a new one. I'll have to, it'll be a question I'll have to have with him later.
Okay, well, we're going to find out. Well, we might not find out by the end of tonight, guys. I've got to be honest. But at the moment, They're going to be looking at going back green very, very shortly. They have gone green. And on that one, well, they're up and running once more. We'll see how it goes on once again here. Having mad issues at the moment. I'm trying to deal with multiple different things, and it's causing me no end of grief in the background. But Alex, we're out in front with TJ tucked in second.
Exactly how I had this looking.
Lies?
Not at all.
No.
What do you mean lies? You can't prove that.
You can't tell
It's
me
not
that you
recorded.
had this looking, you thought this was going to go this way.
Uh-huh. It looks like we have a partner today. That's popped up. I just noticed we have a friend in the booth with us right now.
Hi.
Oh, hello, Mr. Russo. How are you?
I just looked over and I was like, oh, Russo.
What can we do for you, dear sir?
I just figured you wanted to know why Seth hadn't picked.
Yeah, come on and tell us.
First he wanted to get the lead lap bonus point, but apparently he only has one set of tires left, so he was just staying out because he had no tires.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Are you out? I'm going to presume that's why you've come and joined us?
Yeah, I'm not. I had like 8 minutes of optional repairs and no point in driving around.
Oh, okay. How was Texas for you?
I don't know. I really barely got to do anything. My car was crashed real quick early, so I really didn't get to experience the track.
Oh, mate. Never mind. Tell us then, while you're up here in the booth, we saw the announcement earlier on for Pro-Am scenario. What's the situation with that?
Yeah, so just to kind of give, people who never really have a chance to win, like, the end of season championship, something to race for is really all it is. It's just to give slight incentives so people don't feel like that their season's over because they can't win a championship. And there's now an AM championship that they can win. So, I mean, in reality, you could have, this season's probably going to be Noel and Alex that are get in, and then I don't remember who's leading in AM points right now. I think one of them is TJ, so that's good for TJ. But like in season 2, you could have 2 amateurs beat top 2 in points, and we could end up with more amateurs than pros in the final race. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, okay. Give us a little bit more. Why would we end up with more AMs than pros?
Because technically it's top 2 in points with no reoccurring. So like if it stays the way it is, Noel and Alex are already in. So like let's just say Noel and Alex are top 1 and 2 again. 3 and 4 would go to whoever's the 2 spots to go to 3 and 4. One of those people could be an amateur. You never know, they could race really well. I mean, TJ's probably really capable of being up there, so it's possible. It's unlikely because you still have like Dan out there and Cody's and stuff, but it might get more spicy in season 3. We'll see.
Okay, mate. Well, looking forward to it there as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Are you staying for the rest of this, or are you going to vacate?
I mean, I can sit here muted, and if you need me, I can say anything.
Well, you say whatever you like. We've got a 3-car battle at the front at the moment with Michelle and TJ. Who would you put money on, Brusso, for winning this?
I mean, I haven't really been able to see what's going on up front, but it just seems like Dan's been better in the long runs, but Alex has been really good in the long run too, so it's really just a toss-up between those two.
I think it's White Kenton, don't you?
Yeah, I got a good feeling Dan seems to just have the car dialed in when it's he's going on these long runs. I don't know if he's just more comfortable with it, but holding that 5th gear seems to have done him a lot of help.
Yeah, that's one of the things we picked up on, and one of the things that we were looking at earlier on is the 5th gear that Dan Michel holds into turn 1 all the way round. It was on one of the research videos of Kenton earlier on, and that basically staying in 5th round 1 and 2 would save tyres better then changing down into 3 and 4. These guys are running side by side. There they are. They've been here before many times. Just see Alex Witt there. Alongside us, Dan Michel's going to be running this one, seeing how he's going to be getting on here. Is he going to be able to make this one through on around that outside line? Kenton's going to be very, very interested indeed to see if Dan Michel does make it.
Yeah, he's keeps trying to. He's keeping his nose in there, so Alex doesn't get a great kind of exit off of 2 or 4. He's at least keeping that space, but I mean, this is what we kind of talked about. Like, dropping down into 4th is going to be straight faster per lap until those tires start to wear out, and then it's going to be a little more of a problem. So all Dan has to kind of do is sort of be patient, bide his time, and kind of stick to the strategy. Don't try, oh, that almost sent him around, but he might actually be able to slip in underneath and now cause bigger problems for Alex, as Alex won't be able to get all the way down to the inside, and Dan might be able to just rip on by.
I think Dan's going to get this one done here as well. Oh, no, they're not.
Or Alex will take him out. Or Alex will, and then takes out Noel.
Noel goes as well. Alex Witt in the grass. Wow. That was not supposed to happen there, Mr. Armand Russo.
I missed it.
You didn't.
I was in the back and I just saw smoke, so I threw the yellow. I didn't see what.
Yeah, that didn't go well.
No, it definitely didn't. Let's go back. Just see if we can pick up on where this all kind of scenario started here.
Right there. Alex has already got a little bit of wiggle. And he comes up and
he hits the wall, I think, doesn't he?
I don't know if he actually hits the wall. I think he just tries to turn to avoid it, but and then Dan is coming up at the same time. And unfortunately, when 2 cars try and occupy the same space, they tend to not go so well.
And then comes down and keeps coming, puts Jakowitz round. Unfortunately for Noel.
I do believe that's him out of the race because he had already used his fast repair at the beginning of the race.
Who, Alex did?
Noel.
Oh, man.
He's not going to like that one either, because that was Alex did not brake at all going down that. Clipped him. He's not going to like that one.
I imagine that we are hiding chat has just got very, very spicy very, very quickly. To be fair. But Alex Witt all the way down the bottom end now, sitting down in 16th. Comes out of pit lane. And is on his way. Anthony Radel has not pitted with everybody else here, Kenton. This could be quite an interesting scenario from Radel.
Yeah, I'm really curious on Radel not pitting yet. I mean, when he last came in lap 76, that's 21 lap old tires if he changed them. That could be a pretty big problem very quickly.
Yeah. Armand, did you get to your first pit stop?
The stage pit stop?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was 2 laps down, but I did get there.
What was tire life like?
Not great. I think I was like in the 60s, and then it sounded like everybody called out that their stuff was like in the 70s, or some people got really low in the 50s. It's been pretty bad out there.
Oh, okay. Just to give us a rough idea, so we're looking at sort of between 50 to 70% left on tyres here. Lap 98 of 125. We are running with 27 laps to go. Radel's not pitted. Jamelin is now going to be the front of the field with Josh Kuhn and TJ. Peg, Witt, Ross still in pit lane. Terry Spainel Sr. still in pit lane as well. Noel Jakowitz 13th. Dan Michel down in 14th. Kenton and Alex Witt down in 16th.
Yeah, that's not what you're looking for if you're any of those three, really. I'm not really sure what why Alex didn't hold the brakes a little bit more, because Jackowitz definitely had nothing to do with that one, and unfortunately just got taken out by it. But we'll have to see what the game plan is there. I would almost love to be in that chat right now, just seeing what words were shared. But we will.
Yeah, well, we can't obviously share the expletives. I'm guessing as well. And are you on the race control panel?
I don't. I just have a button that just pushes yellows or clears. But
Do you look at the incidents after? That's what I mean. Are you on a stewarding panel? Sorry, my word. Choice bad words.
Oh yeah, we at the end of the race we'll sit in the chat and we'll watch everything that happens pretty much immediately after.
Okay.
There's like
I've been in those a few times.
Well, like the official one, only if somebody files a protest we'll go look for anything important.
Okay, I'd be interested to know if there's any actions coming out of that one for not holding brakes. But Radal's got off the line, but Andrew Jamelin right in behind him and is gonna motor past him here. It's a complete different scenario of tyre life. As there was a nice little love tap from Jamelin. Radial's left that door high, wide and handsome. Jamelin says, thank you very much. I will take that one. TJ sitting in fourth at the moment. He's now closing down. He's running side by side, I believe, with somebody on our outside. That is Trenton Kimmel. Then Brandon McLaughlin's recovered as well from his earlier incident down on lap 1 and has now put himself in 5th place. So we're going to find out whether or not how far Brandon McLaughlin's going to get on this one. How far is TJ going to get, and how far is Radal going to be able to go, Kenton, without going into pit lane?
I think the question for Radal is going to be how far does he drop, having not come in for pit tires on pit lane there. Similar to Seth, I'm guessing is probably the reason, as Anthony Radal has been in pit lane 6 times. So the fact that he's even in the top anything right now is actually quite impressive. But I got a feeling he has no tires left at that point. It's just kind of trying to make it to the end in one piece and with a car that's still pointing the proper direction. Wow, did TJ just went flying up to the back of him.
Yeah, I wonder if anybody's got any tires left now.
Everybody should have one set. Well, most of them.
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You guys did up it to 5, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, we just added one extra, so everybody's got their extra tire left.
Okay, well, see as they're going 3 wide. Brandon McLaughlin, Anthony Radal, Trenton Kimmel. Radal through the middle. Unfortunately for Radal, it wasn't through the middle going forward, it was through the middle going back with Josh Kuhn. Now tucked in behind him as well, coming on that entrance into 1 and 2. Radal is going backwards quicker than he is going forwards at the moment. There's groups of battles in behind him. Tom Kuhn, Brad Young, Josh Keefe. Then we got Rod Sizemore, Dylan Freeman, Dan Michel, Daniel Molinari, Steph Pegg. Jackowitz is still out there running. However, without a rear bumper.
It's called weight saving.
Weight saving.
Yeah, his front end is also not straight anymore. It's got a nice little dent in it.
He's even got a boot on that.
Not anymore now.
Yeah, he's got a slight rear spoiler, but he's got nothing else on the back end of old Jackowitz's machine there. So for him, we can see the inner workings of that car from the nose of Jeffrey Reed. But yeah, poor old Noel Jackowitz has not got a lot of it left here once again, as Anthony Jamelin breaks the 2nd mark. But it is coming down. TJ's looking a little bit swift here, Kenton.
Yeah, TJ, once he kind of got through Radal and was kind of free and clear, he brought it down. It was just over a second and at 1.1 seconds.
Yeah.
So he's gotten it down about a 10th. Seems to be running pretty well. We'll see if he's able to kind of hold on to that. Obviously, 19 laps to go. These tires are going to be not very happy near the end of the race, so we'll have to see how that plays out.
Yeah, lap 97.
And you don't want to be that high.
No, definitely not. On lap 97, we got 19. Well, 97 was when they last all pitted. We've got 19 to go. Jamelin, Kimmel, Spainhour. It's interesting, Armin, that this week we're seeing a completely different front five compared to what we would normally see.
Yeah, that'll happen when the two fastest guys wreck each other and then take out the third fastest guy. That leaves opportunity for everybody else, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Points to be get.
Absolutely. That's where I was going with that one, Armin. So fair play for picking up on that. As Brian McClellan and Trent and Kimmel are running side by side now. And they're coming out of turn 4 into past the restart zone. Over the line they go. Brad Young is sitting in behind him. He's a little bit further back with Kuhn and Keith as they're continuing the fight. But McClellan and Kimmel not giving each other up here. Kenton. McClellan just lost that place to Kimmel's going to try to cut back underneath. Kimmel gets a little bit of slidey on. Coming into turn 3 now. Oh, yeah. Not good.
Kimmel tried to come down and McLaughlin threw the stiff arm on that one. Nope. And just kept going. And unfortunately, I think that's actually going to cost him Kimmel another spot as he now has to duel with Josh Kuhn on the inside.
Yeah, how's Trent and Kimmel going to handle this? 16 to go now. Is he going to look at coming back? He does get past Kuhn, but is he going to be able to get with Brown and McLaughlin? This is where the action's going to be at the moment here, guys. With these two men fighting it out. Kimmel's going to have a go. Surely he's got to be getting close enough. What was the draft scenario like out there, Armin? Was it strong?
Yeah, it was pretty good. The only time you had to be careful is if somebody was breaking in front of you, but down the straightaway, if you got a good run, the draft was really helpful.
Well, there we go. Straight from the horse's mouth. Kimmel now can sense McLaughlin. McLaughlin got a little bit loose. Coming out of turn 2. Just going to be feeling the pressure. TJ can't get into the wall.
Yeah, I was just going to say, someone's got to get McLaughlin a rod and reel with how much he was fishtailing back there. But Trenton Kimmel had a surprise visitor. I think that was Brad. It was either Brad Young or Thomas Kuhn. I thought it was, or Josh Kuhn. Sorry,
Young's in behind him.
Josh Kuhn. Yeah, but I think Josh Kuhn had popped up on his inside, and then when he hit the wall, kind of bounced him and he sort of backed off, and now he's unfortunately lost that position to Brad Young as well.
Yeah, Witt's 1 lap down. Just see him coming out the pit lane once more here. We've only got one, I believe it's Calvin Ross. Ross is out. Terry Spainhour Senior is still running, so we've got 19 cars still up and running here. And Terry at the moment is about, blimey, he's a good few laps down.
13.
He's to be fair, this is kind of, from Terry's point of view, right, he could have just given up and had done with it and had enough of it and decided, right, I'm done. But running 13 laps down and still going, getting a little bit of admirability about that.
For some reason, I feel like that was a shot at someone, but that's just me. Kim Cross. But yeah, no, I mean, it's seat time for Terry, right?
I wasn't digging at him. I'm just saying that every time.
No, I wasn't saying digging at him.
I know.
I think he was taking a shot at me is what he was trying to point at.
I know, yeah, that's what I think.
Wow.
That's what I thought he was coming. I was not digging at him either. I wasn't digging at Armand. I was just saying the fact that he's carried on, albeit 13 laps down. He obviously is seat time.
Yeah, exactly. For Terry, it's seat time, and he's gonna, the more you're in the car, the better off it's gonna go, and that's really all that. I don't want to say it's all that matters, but it's definitely a significant bonus when you're able to get just even some extra laps, kind of do what you need to do, nothing too crazy. There's no pressure. You can kind of just drive. Makes life a little easier that way. I do think Alex Witt is out as well. Looking at him, he's still in pit lane. He's been there for almost 2 minutes now, so I think he is done as well.
Andrew Jamelin has led for more laps than 16, guys. I'd like to point out, I think that was 32 before the caution. So due to having to reset the timing software, has reset all the numbers, which is wonderful. So for us, Jamelin has led more than 17. but he's doing a good job in the process. 9 to go. Doesn't seem like anybody's able to get close enough at the moment. Keith and Sizemore running side by side. And as you say, Alex Witt is looking like he's out. Dan Michel's a little bit further back here, chasing down Josh Kiefer and Rod Sizemore. Good to see Dan back again this week, Armand.
Yeah, he said he was away for like a 1-month birthday celebration. None of us can really figure out how that's possible. But yeah, it's good to see him back out on track. You know, I mean, we were nice and clean without him, but you know, he's been here for so long. You'd like to see Dan out.
Jewish bar mitzvah? Do they not go on?
I don't think he's Jewish.
I know, but don't they go on for ages, don't they? And do you know what? In a weird way, going off completely tangent here for just 2 seconds, guys. It's not bad going to a bar mitzvah, like being a Jewish child. They give you money, loads of it. It's great. What more do you need? So,
I've never been.
Yeah, I've never been. I guess the only Jewish friend I have that I'd be close enough to do that, he was in his 30s when I met him, so he's having a bar mitzvah at that point. We might have questions.
Armand, you ever been to one?
No, I don't even think I had any Jewish friends growing up. I don't think so. I definitely have never been invited to one, that's for sure. I got nothing on that.
I've been to one. That's why I went. But then again, I grew up in North London, and that is certain areas an incredibly Jewish area. So there we go. But back to the racing, as I've just gone off on a little tangent. We've got 6 to go. Jamie Lynn, Smainauer, McLaughlin, and Kimmel. The interesting thing here, Kenton, Jamie Lynn's extending the gap more than I thought he was. I thought when TJ got in behind him, he might have been able to hold that. But he is shifting down in 1 and 2. So clearly at the moment, with 5 to go, Jamie Lynn's tyres look fine.
Yeah, they're doing all right. I think a large part of it, too, was TJ trying to get past that little group of Kimmel, Young, Kuhn, as he was trying to get through all of them and kind of having his battles with them. I think it's just he was pushing a little harder, and unfortunately his tires started to go at a rate little more than what Jamie Lynn was dealing with his. But you can see, I mean, his tires definitely they're not happy when he's going all the way down to, I think he hit 150, maybe 149 going through 1 and 2. So he's definitely not feeling the best when it comes to speed around that turns 1 and 2 there. So the tires are going to be a little sore. They're probably begging to go home. But we'll see. Hopefully he's only got 3 laps to go that he has to hold on to. So as long as he's able to keep it calm, cool, and collected, he shouldn't have too many issues. I don't think he's going to reach Anthony Radel there, who's in 15th and ahead of him. He might on the last lap, but it shouldn't cause too many problems if he's able to catch him. But I don't think he even will get there because I think Radel just came in 4 tires as well. So it should be okay. Just keep it nice and smooth and don't do anything crazy. Should be all good.
There we go. Over the line he goes. Andrew Jamelin, we've got 2 to go here. Don't forget, no yellow flags on the final lap. So let's find out. Can he manage to make it through? He's only got a couple of corners. It's going to be about 40 seconds before we know whether or not Andrew Jamelin is going to wrap up this win. I think at the moment it's looking a pretty dead cert. And since the top 2 had their issues, Jamelin has picked up the mantle, run away with it, guys. He's going to go over the line. It's going to be the white flag. Andrew Jamelin just got 1 more lap, and he's basically going to wrap this one up here. Great drive from Andrew here, Armand as well. Great to see him on the top step.
Yeah, he was feeling a little down a little after stage break because I think he dropped down a few spots when he got beat out of pit road. So it was a good bounce back for him. Sure, things helped him out a little bit, but that's racing. Sometimes you gotta take the luck when you get it and go out there and finish the race.
Yeah, he goes over the line now. Trenton Kimmel takes the victory here at the Great American Speedway. TJ comes over the line in 2nd place. Great job from him. Trenton Kimmel does manage to hold on to 3rd with Brandon McLaughlin in behind him. And Dylan Freeman, we haven't seen much of Dylan today. I'm down 1 place, sitting in 6th. as well comes over the line. So a great job from all of these guys. We were 7 cautions in there, Kenton. You missed out by 1.
Ah, it was a good guess, though. I was close. Getting better at the guesstimations.
At least you guessed. I didn't put anything forward, so, you know. So, on that one. Bring you up the results of the race. And Andrew Jamelin is your winner. TJ Spainhour sitting in second with Trenton Kimmel in third. Then you got Brandon McLaughlin in fourth. Then Brad Young and Dylan Freeman fifth and sixth. Not bad for Brad. Top 5. Great job from him. Josh Kuhn, in seventh. Josh Keefe in eighth. Dan Michelle battled his way back to ninth. Rod Sizemore 10th. Then Daniel Molinari in 11th. Noel Jackowitz in 12th. Then Seth Pegg, Jeffrey Reed, Anthony Radel, Matthew Epting, Tom Kuhn, and Terry Spainhour in 18th. And then behind that, that's a sight we didn't think we were going to see here, Ken. And Alex Witt down in 19th place with Calvin Ross and, of course, Armand Brusso there sitting at the back end of that one. Let's start and go 3, 2, 1. So we'll pick up and bring in Mr. Trenton Kimmel into the booth. Trenton, welcome in, bud. How are you?
Dude, I am doing amazing. I fought for that, and I got it.
A hard race out there, wasn't it?
It was difficult. Tire wear was insane. The right sides would just fall off a cliff. You'd get tight into turn 1, loose off the exit of 2. 3 and 4 was manageable, but everybody had a different line, but it was all overlapping. Passing was difficult. And man, I'm just lucky I missed Noel on that last wreck, because that would have absolutely ended my night.
Yeah, that was very close, to be fair to you as well. Just, we were talking about tire life in the green room, Trenton. Just how bad was it?
Lap 15, somewhere around there, it's just a cliff. Like, all of a sudden, I would just get so loose off of turn 2. I was able to manage it the whole night, luckily. But you can see multiple times where I've got my wheel almost 45 to the right trying to save it. And then it's just, when you're racing, when you're side by side, you can't let off, you can't save, because you're just like, I don't want this guy to get by me, but I don't want to kill my tires. So it's a hard battle of what do you do?
Well, whatever decision you made, sir, worked out well for you. Angie's in YouTube chat. Hooray! She says, way to go, Trenton. And Happy Little Cupcake says, great job. I'm not quite sure who Happy Little Cupcake is. Who is Happy Little Cupcake?
That's my girlfriend. You remember at Vegas when you made me
threw him under the bus?
Yeah, when you made me.
Oh, was that when you
tricked me into saying I was scared of marriage? Yeah, that was a fun night.
Oh, I didn't trick you. I may have just led you up.
100% tricked him.
I
100%.
led you up a path and you
100%.
took the walk. That wasn't my fault.
Kenton's my guy. Kenton's on my side. I think we're right.
You definitely tricked.
Yeah, shut up, Armand. What are you doing? It's still
Armand,
here.
what are you doing in here?
Yeah, exactly. He's been here for a while, since he's been sat in pit lane, and he gave up for him anyway. Yeah, I know. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go, bud?
Just shout out to the league. Shout out to Brandon McLaughlin. He raced me super clean. I mean, me and him were right tooth and nail the entire time in that last little stint. And he could have easily drove into the back of me, moved me up the track, but he kept it clean. I really appreciate it for them. Shout out to my parents, Angie, and I don't know if you know Matt, my dad. They all support me in this, and it's a great time. And obviously to my girlfriend, supporting me in this little hobby too. She's always texting me, telling me good job, giving me encouragement. I just got a great group of fans here.
All right, man. No worries. Well, take care, Trenton. Have a good one, bud.
You too. Take her easy, man.
Throw me under the bus there. Two were terrible.
You threw him under the bus.
Look,
100%.
it wasn't my fault. He was afraid of marriage. I didn't realise that, did I? You know what I mean?
He probably still is.
All right, let's bring him in now as well. The man that finished in second place, Mr. TJ Spainhour. TJ, welcome in, bud.
Hello.
Hello, mate. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm all right, bud. Not bad. Second place for you.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty glad to be P2 on pace at a track that's not a drafting track. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, he did well there, bud, as well. Gained 4 places over it. You look quite comfortable, to be fair, TJ.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I was actually honestly surprised where I qualified, and I was hoping for that P4 finish at stage, but I can't remember who it was that passed me. I think it was Noel. Come flying by me. Old P4 from me.
Well, you still got points, mate. You still got P5.
Yeah.
On the fortunate side of things, Noel finished down in 12th and you grabbed 2nd. So there was a
Had
plus
the
side
fastest
to it.
lap.
Yeah,
Who was
there
the
you go.
fastest lap?
TJ had the fastest lap.
Oh, well, that's nice.
There you go. What more can you ask for, bud?
Oh, not much. Maybe first, but AJ was too dang fast.
Well,
Kept pulling away from me. The pixels just kept getting smaller and smaller.
yeah, well, we go to Kansas next week, mate. How do you feel about that?
It's similar to this track, not entirely the same. But I like Kansas. We'll see what we can do there.
All right, man. Well, looking forward to seeing how you get on. TJ, anyone you want to shout out before we let you go, bub?
Friends and family, my wife, and still thoughts and everything for Parker. And you guys, thank you for doing the broadcast, and to my team, FART.
All right, man. No worries. Have a good one, TJ. We'll catch up with you soon, bud.
See ya.
Right, and the last final interview is your winner, the number 65 Ford of Mr. Andrew Jamin. Andrew, welcome in, bud.
Hey, y'all. How are y'all?
I'm very well, thanks, mate. How are you?
I am livid. I'm gonna go celebrate.
You're livid.
Just happy to pull this win off. Really.
Oh, okay.
One
Because
choice of words, AJ.
yeah, because livid in the UK means you're upset and annoyed, mate.
Same thing in America.
Yep.
Well, I used it in the wrong terms, but y'all get the point.
You're very yeah, good job. We got translations. You're very happy.
Yes, I am.
Oh, well, there you go. Not bad at all. Managed to avoid the wreck with Dan and Alex. That was quite close.
That was really close. I definitely got really lucky there. I didn't think I would have gotten that if that wouldn't have happened. But definitely was lucky there. I was able to hold off TJ and save my tires and get to the end pretty clean.
Well, you motored away from TJ at the end there, bud. It was about 3.5 second gap as well. Going forward into next week, any expectations as we're heading to Kansas?
Not really much expectation, rather than just try to do the same thing we just did and try to have a good run there, close out the spring season right, and just try to lock ourselves into the P2 spot for November.
Okay, man. Well, good luck, buddy, on that one. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Love to shout out my family, everybody at home, the dogs, my parents, my sisters, everybody that supports me. Yeah, just that's about it.
Okay, man. Fair play. AJ, well done, buddy. Have a good one. We'll catch you next week.
Thank you. You too.
Well, there you go, Kenton. Another week done. Another week finished. And we've only got one more week to go of this season.
I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It definitely is. Short and sweet. I love it. Man of many,
Yeah,
man
I'm
of many
excited. It's
words, aren't you,
Kansas.
sir?
It's drive fast. Kansas. It's great. I love Kansas. It's a
All right.
fun time. It's different, but fun.
Armand, are we going to see you at Kansas, and are you going to finish the race?
I probably will be here. I do have a funeral that I have to go to Tuesday morning, so we'll see how that goes. But I'll probably be.
All right, man. Well, no worries, guys. That's going to wrap it up. Thanks so much for joining us as well here. Don't forget, like, subscribe, turn on the bells, and do all that other fancy jazz. But I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Kenton Sportak. Take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on a track sometime. Good night.